Hello class, my name is Sean Kim, and the topic I'm going to talk about in my presentation is global trends of child malnutrition. There are three main forms of child malnutrition. The first form is stunting, which refers to a child who is too short for his or her age. These children can suffer irreversible physical and cognitive damage. The second form is wasting, which refers to a child who is too thin for his or her height. Wasting is a result of recent rapid weight loss or the failure to gain weight. A child who is severely wasted has an increased risk of death. The last form is overweight, which refers to a child who is too heavy for his or her height. Overweight increases the risk of diet-related chronic diseases later in life, such as diabetes and coronary heart disease. Moving on to global overview of child malnutrition. Malnutrition rates remain alarming in a global context. Stunting is declining too slowly, while wasting is still impacting the lives of young children. And overall, Africa and Asia bear the greatest share of all forms of malnutrition. Moving on to stunting prevalence. 7 subregions have a high or very high stunting prevalence, especially Middle Africa, Eastern Africa, and Southern Asia are affected the most. Nearly 2 out of 5 stunted children in the world live in Southern Asia. And Africa is the only region where the number of stunted children have risen from 2000 to 2019. Next is wasting prevalence. Southern Asia is the sub-region with the highest wasting prevalence in the world. More than half of all wasted children in the world live in Southern Asia. In Asia and Oceania, wasting is putting nearly 1 in 10 children at increased risk of death. Overweight prevalence. Overweight is a concern in almost all regions of the world. Between year 2000 and 2019, the percentage of overweight children increased from 8.7 to 20.7% in Australia and New Zealand, which is a scary number. Moving on to malnutrition rates by income. And this section relates to individuals' socioeconomic status. So as you can see in the graph below, upper middle income countries reduced their stunting prevalence by more than 2/3 since 2000, while low income and lower middle income countries only achieved a decrease of 1/3. And there has been no progress to stem the rate of overweight in nearly 20 years in any income group of all countries. While only about half of all children under 5 live in lower middle income countries, 64% of all stunted children live in lower middle income countries, whereas 1% live in high income countries. 75% of all wasted children live in lower middle income countries, whereas 1% live in high income countries. 41% of all overweight children live in upper middle income countries, whereas 13% live in high income countries. So how can we link these points to the larger context of global health? According to the textbook Global Health 101, nutritional status has a significant relationship with health status. Child malnutrition is the leading risk factor for death of under 5 children globally. Approximately 45% of all deaths in children under 5 are caused by nutrition-related problems. And because all this, low-cost, highly effective interventions are needed to improve nutrition status in a global context. I want to talk about the determinants of nutritional status. Inadequate dietary intake weakens the body and opens it up to infectious disease. And illness makes it harder for children to eat, absorb the nutrients they take in, and raises the need for some nutrients like protein and fat. And this relationship creates a cycle of illness and infection. So as you can see on the picture on the left, first you start with undernutrition. So undernutrition causes the immunity to go down, and it also increases the risk of disease. And once the child gets infectious disease, it increases the energy needs, and it also increases the calories needed to fight infection. At the same time, it decreases appetite and nutrient absorption. So this is a little cycle of undernutrition and infectious disease, and breaking such cycle is a difficult problem. So addressing future nutrition challenges. So there are two possible solutions that I came with. First one is nutrient-specific intervention. According to the textbook, young child deaths could be reduced by about 15% with a package of nutritional interventions for pregnant women and their children that includes multiple micronutrient fortification, balanced energy protein supplementation, and vitamin A and zinc supplementation for children aged 6 to 59 months. And the second solution is to enable environment for nutrition. And this means that um, laws, policies, resources that relate to the approach countries take to nutrition and how effective they're implementing and monitoring nutrition interventions. So, for example, if you wanted to reduce overweight rates in a specific region, you could start taxing sweetened beverages or foods that are high in fat. I have three reflective questions for you guys. So first question is, WHO SDG number 2 states, end hunger, achieve food security, and improved nutrition and sustain agriculture. And in your opinion, how well do you think this SDG is achieved in current society? The second question is, if you are a policymaker, what is one program that you can make to decrease the child malnutrition rate? And the last question is, why do you think it is important to end child malnutrition, especially in the context of COVID-19 pandemic? These are the references that I used for my presentation. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching.